Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something huge in cybersecurity. And you know what? It's not just about tech anymore. It's about culture. It's about how your people, they can actually become your single strongest defense.
All right, let's kick things off with a number that's, well, it's pretty hard to ignore. $10.5 trillion. That's what experts think global cybercrime is going to cost us every single year by 2025. I mean, that's just a mind-boggling scale of a threat we're all up against.
So where are all these crazy expensive breaches coming from? You might be picturing some super sophisticated, Hollywood-style hack. But the reality? It's often way simpler. The data from the last few years is pretty clear. Something like 70% of breaches involve a human element. We're talking about simple stuff like someone clicking a bad link or using a password that's way too easy to guess.
And that right there, that points to a massive shift in how we need to think about this. For decades, the game was all about building bigger, better technical walls. Stronger firewalls, more encryption. But the truth is, the real battleground has completely moved. It's your people, not just your tech, who are now standing on the new front line of cybersecurity.
So, the big question is, how do we flip that script? How do we turn what looks like a vulnerability into a massive strength? Well, that's what we're going to break down today. We've got a 5-part blueprint for building what's called a human firewall. We'll touch on the human element, why leadership is key, how to really get your people engaged, turning security into a daily habit, and then the huge payoff when you get it right.
All right, section 1, the human element. This is really about a fundamental mindset shift. We have to stop thinking of people as the weakest link and start seeing them for what they can be, your absolute strongest and most adaptable defense. What this really means at its core is building a genuine cybersecurity culture. It's kind of like how a factory has a safety culture, right? Or how a bank has an ethics culture. It's about creating an environment where being secure isn't just some rule buried in a handbook. It becomes part of the company's DNA, something that's baked into everyone's day-to-day, a responsibility that everybody shares.
Now, a culture like that doesn't just pop into existence. You can't just wish for it. It has to be built brick by brick. And there's no question where that building process has to begin. It starts right at the top with leadership. So what does that look like in practice? What do leaders actually need to do? Well, it boils down to 3 really critical things. First, they have to champion security as a business priority, not just some IT problem to be solved in the server room. Second, they absolutely have to walk the talk. They need to model the right behaviors, which means no cutting corners on security protocols just because it's more convenient. And third, they need to lay down clear, simple policies that aren't written in jargon, policies that everyone can actually understand and follow. And this really hits on a critical point. You want to know what kills a security culture faster than anything? Hypocrisy. It's that simple. If employees see the execs ignoring the rules, the message is loud and clear. Security isn't really that important here. A leader's actions, that's what sets the real standard, not the policy document. Okay, so once that foundation from the top is in place, the next giant piece of the puzzle is engaging your people. And this is where the magic really happens. We're talking about transforming security training from that thing everyone dreads, that boring annual chore, into a practical, valuable skill that people actually want to have. I mean, let's just be real for a second. The old way, it's broken. It just doesn't work. That once a year, check-the-box training module that everyone just tries to click through as fast as humanly possible, it's completely useless against the kinds of threats we're seeing today. So, what's the new way? It's all about continuous creative engagement. Instead of that one-and-done training, think regular phishing simulations that give you instant feedback. Think about gamified learning, making it a challenge. It's also about making the content super relevant to what people actually do every day. And maybe most important of all, building a no-blame culture where people feel safe enough to stick their hand up and say, hey, I think I messed up, without fear of being punished. Okay, so you've got this great, engaging training, but how do you make it actually stick? How does it become part of the daily routine instead of just a one-time thing? That brings us to our next part, making security a daily habit. And that's all about accountability, incentives, and integration. To really drive secure behavior, you need a balanced approach. Think of it like you have 3 main levers you can pull. The first one is positive recognition, things like security champion awards that celebrate people who do the right thing.
The second lever is accountability, like actually making security a part of someone's official performance review. And the third lever, clear, fair consequences. Not for honest mistakes, but for repeated, careless behavior. And I want to be really clear here. This is not about creating a climate of fear. It's about education and being predictable. For instance, a really good system might look like this. The first time someone clicks on a phishing test, they get an immediate pop-up with some quick, just-in-time training. Easy. The second time? Okay, maybe that's a one-on-one chat with their manager. By the third time, it might get a little more formal. See? It's a system that always puts learning first. And this all leads to a really crucial idea. Security has to be built in, not just bolted on later. It needs to be woven right into your everyday workflows. What does that mean? It means adding security checkpoints to your project plans. It means including cybersecurity standards when you sign a contract with a new supplier. It's about making security just a normal part of how you do business.
Okay, let's bring all these pieces together and talk about the ultimate payoff. Because when you get this stuff right, you don't just have good security. You gain what we can call the culture advantage. You're turning something that most companies see as a chore or a cost center into a legitimate, powerful business asset.
And what you've built, ultimately, is that human firewall we talked about at the beginning. It's this incredible collective defense made up of every single person in your organization. Your entire workforce becomes alert, educated, and engaged. They literally become your most dynamic and intelligent line of defense, spotting weird emails and sketchy situations that automated systems might just miss.
And the benefits here go way beyond just playing defense. Of course, you dramatically reduce your risk of a costly breach. But it's more than that. You build incredible trust with your clients and your partners. You strengthen your brand's reputation. And let's be honest, in today's world, being the company that's known for having a rock-solid security culture, that is a huge competitive advantage. So we'll leave you with one final question to think about, a question to take back to your own organization. Just ask yourself, right now, is your company culture a hidden liability, or is it your greatest security asset?